and there he is himself. Once we are done with the interview, we'll open up for questions and comments. And right now, there is the Towering Inferno, Sebastian Fundora. Sebastian, how are you, my man?
Good. Everything's good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. First of all, I want to ask you, we are about 11 days away until you step inside the ring on pay-per-view, PBC, on FOX Sports pay-per-view. How pumped are you for May 1st?
Oh, really pumped, really pumped. We're just waiting for the fight date and more than ready.
I almost feel like if you could fight tonight, because we have fights tonight on FS1, that you'd be able to fight tonight. Is that fair to say?
Oh, definitely, definitely. We've been ready since March, I think, to fight. We have tons of rounds in. We're ready.
I almost feel like if you could fight like once a month or once every other couple of weeks, that you would probably do that.
Definitely, definitely. We're always prepared. We're always in camp. After this fight, I'm going right back into camp. I'm not waiting nothing.
Are you concerned at all? Because I know you're a hard worker, and talking with your dad, he's like, my son's always in the gym. He's always working hard. Are you concerned about, burning yourself out, or how do you balance that, making sure you get the proper rest and stuff?
Yeah, I'm never worried about burning out or anything like that. We've been boxing our whole life. And when I was amateur, we never took breaks for anything like that. So this is nothing different. We're meant for this. We're meant for this.
So you're known as the Towering Inferno for a reason. But for those who don't know, because you're sitting down right now, you stand 6 feet 6 inches tall. So when you think of height like that, you think of, basketball, you think of, there are other professions that you can, or sports you can get into without trying to have someone tear your head off. Why boxing?
It's just something my whole family has been doing for a long time. My father, my mother, my older brother, my siblings. We've just been a boxing family this whole time. So it's just something I was born into, and I end up loving too.
One thing I also noticed about you is that at points of the fight, because I remember your debut, I think this was in 2018 on FS1, and you fought a kid from Minneapolis who's big and strong and had power, and he rocked you a few times. You rocked him, and it was like Rock'em Sock'em Robots. But why do you decide to fight on the inside? Do you like it, mixing it up and going toe-to-toe with guys?
Yeah, it's just part of the show. Definitely part of the show. I like giving the fans what they want. They want to see punches. And that's what we deliver. So if it gets the fans happy, it makes me happy.
So what do you do in training camp to sort of set the pace that you do? Because you have a high punch output. And one item that stands out about you is your volume of punching. So what do you do in the gym to get you ready to throw as many shots as you do?
Well, if we want to train like that, we have to eat a lot and we have to use a lot of energy. So we eat a lot, we run a lot, we do the things for that and how to fight like that. So if we fight like that, we're going to train like that. We do the same exact thing.
How much have you grown being a professional? Because I have seen a development in your career since when you debuted at the Armory in Minneapolis and fighting at AT&T Stadium on the undercard of Spence and Garcia. You've been a part of some big cards, but how confident are you? And tell us about your progression as a fighter.
Yeah, with all these fighting on bigger cards and stuff, it boosted my confidence up completely. I felt like coming into this this professional sport, I've had good confidence, but the fact that PBC wants to put me on platforms like this and they notice my talents and the fans notice my talents, it just makes me more motivated to fight better and to train harder and to become a world champion.
So in your mind, do you have a timetable as to when you want to fight an eliminator fight, or when you want to fight for the world title? Have you spoken with your management team to sort of outline that and have a game plan?
Not myself. This fight is another eliminator. Last fight we fought for WBA eliminator. This one's a WBC. So we are in the talks of it, but I just have to talk to my whole team. That's not a decision I make by myself. I always talk to my whole team about that.
So with this being your second eliminator fight, are you going to go after a third one and a fourth one to where you really are like unavoidable?
If it needs to be, then it will be.
Samson Lukowicz is your promoter. Samson Lukowicz has been, I mean, talk about a legend in the sport. He has discovered so many big names in boxing, most notably Manny Pacquiao, David Benavidez, and Sergio Martinez. Do you talk with Samson, and what does he tell you in terms of guidance-wise? Because that's somebody that you certainly want to hear from and learn from.
Mm-hmm. Well, when we're around Samson, he just feels like part of the team, like almost like a family member, and he's someone to look up to, you know, business wise and the way he handles stuff. So I just whatever advice he gives me, I usually just take. It could be anything. It could be as in don't drink that juice, drink that juice. I just look at him as someone to look up to, say an uncle or something.
So he's that detail orientated in terms of when you guys are around each other.
Definitely.
So I'm going to tell you a quick story about when you burst onto the scene in Minneapolis, and before you and I really even had an opportunity to talk, and I want to get your response. So I remember when Samson had David Benavidez in November of 2015, and he told me, he goes, I got the next big young superstar. This kid's going to be a world champion. Benavidez goes on and does that, and has done what he's done. With you, I got very similar vibes when you came onto the scene, because Samson doesn't, give compliments, as you know, to just anybody. Mm-hmm. When you came onto the scene, he goes, I got my next young champion. And he was so excited about you, and he's always beaming about you. How does that make you feel?
Like I said, with PVC, Samson, all you guys boost me up. I already came in with a confident mindset knowing what I do, but it's nice to have other people recognizing me as a talent.
Does it give you more swagger to be like, okay, like, man, not in a bad way, but like, all right, people are believing in me. They really think I could do something. I'm going to give a little extra oomph to really make that statement. Yeah,
definitely. It gives me a lot more motivation to perform and to showcase myself to all the fans and everybody watching me.
So I was hosting the press conference for you and Jorge Cota a couple of weeks back. When he said that he wants to go toe-to-toe with you, he wants to tear your head off. He's being respectful, but, I mean, that's what prize fighters say, right? You're not going to go in there and say, when the bell rings, we're going to shake hands and everything's going to be, nice and safe. He says he wants to knock you out, and he understands that it's going to be a war. What's your response to that?
Well, we're ready. We're ready for whatever he brings. He can come in close. He can fight from a distance. He can come and try and knock our head off. We're ready for everything.
Fighting in front of fans. I mean, you did it at AT&T Stadium. It was scattered and, very good crowd in attendance. But now fighting at Dignity Health Sports Park on pay-per-view May 1st to begin the Cinco de Mayo sort of weekend and holiday. How special is that for you?
Oh, very special. The fact that we're getting to fight back in California with fans. California has been closed for a little bit, so I feel like I'm one of the first ones to open up California and welcoming everything back to normal here in California. So it's great, and it's an honor.
How long has the training camp been for you, Sebastian?
As soon as that fight in December happened, that Monday, I went back into camp.
So the fight was Saturday, and you got back into camp on Monday?
Mm-hmm. And I started running and everything, right back to it.
So what do you do? Like when you're not in official training camp, what's your schedule like? Are you in the gym 4 or 5 days a week, 6 days a week? What's a typical week when you don't have a fight upcoming for Sebastian Fundora?
I live in the gym. My gym is my backyard, so I'm constantly back there. But just more rest, I guess. Just more rest. That's all, really. I take advantage of sleeping in. I don't have to wake up early to run, but that's about it.
So what do you do during your off time when you're not in the gym or you're not running or you're not paying attention to your nutrition? I mean, do you like to watch certain TV shows? Do you like to play video games, listen to music? What does Sebastian Fundora like to do?
Yeah, we do karaoke. We do. My family does karaoke. We bring over some friends. We'll do some karaoke.
You do karaoke? Wait a minute. You do karaoke?
Yeah, we do karaoke. I'm not a good singer, so don't ask me to sing right now. But.
Well, I'm not going to ask you to sing, but okay, so if you're doing karaoke, if I come over your place and karaoke's going on and it's like, Sebastian, it's your time to go up, what song are you going to pick? Like, what do you like to sing?
I like singing like rock songs, more like to get myself pumped up, like music I would come out to, like during the fight. Some Guns N' Roses.
What kind of artists do you like?
What's that?
What kind of artist do you like?
Guns N' Roses, or something Frank Sinatra, something I can sing to. You know, let's say bar music. You know, everybody can sing to. Songs you can't mess up. Country music.
All right, so one of these days, I'm going to ask you a request, and I don't know if you could go ahead and follow through on it, but after your fight, you know, when Heidi Andrell's interviewing you, whatever, if you could go ahead and give me a little "Welcome to the Jungle" by Guns N' Roses.
Oh, dang.
You know?
It won't be as good as Tyson Fury, but it'll be pretty good.
Hey, I like it. I like that vibe. In terms of getting back to May 1st, being a part of this, you know, there are a lot of Mexican fighters on this card. Styles make fights. And what we see is we got Abel Ramos, Omar Figueroa. I think defense is going to be second and third in that regard because they're both offensive. Arreola Ruiz, same deal. So how pumped are you to be able to say, all right, I want to steal the night. I want my fight to be the best fight on the card.
Oh, very pumped, very pumped. And I think this fight has the opportunity to do it. He's a talented fighter. I'm a talented fighter. And we're just going to go out and then we'll make it a war.
What are some things, not giving away your game plan, but what are some things you've been working on specifically for Jorge Cota?
Everything we were working at last camp, we just brought into this camp. A lot of running, a lot of conditioning to keep that punch rate a lot. And we're just going to bring it. For whatever he brings, we're just going to counter it with our work. We'll be ready for every single thing he brings.
And for also those who don't know, when you talk about your gym being in your backyard, that's not hyperbole. Like, that is legit. Like, you actually have your gym in the backyard. Can you tell the viewers that you and your dad actually built that with your own hands, right?
Yeah. It wasn't just me, my dad. It was my whole family. My little sister, my mom. We all built it. And we built a casita right next to our house for fighters, for sparring partners, and for fighters to stay here.
Wow, no way. So you guys built a house too?
So the fight house, let's call it a fight house. This fight house was built by fighters.
Wow. That's unreal. So who were your sparring partners for this fight?
We had a lot. We had a lot of people. We had David Benavidez. We had
Wait a minute, you were sparring with Benavidez?
Yeah, we were sparring with Benavidez. It was pretty good intense sparring. Yeah.
I mean, I'd pay to watch that. I mean, you and Benavidez going at it? Come on.
Yeah, that's what everyone was saying. But it was good work. Very, very good work. Very, very. And you showed in his last fight. His last fight looked spectacular.
So you got him ready for his last fight against Ronald Ellis, and he kind of got you ready for this?
Yep, definitely.
So, definitely. And you also live in Coachella, right?
Yes.
And what is that like? I mean, that's been your home your entire life and stuff. Do you like how secluded it is and away from everything?
Yeah, definitely. I like being by myself or with myself, with just the family and stuff. And the people around here, they do the same thing. So it feels welcoming here, but it gives you your privacy. And that's all I need.
So you go from being, I know that you're really relaxed, you're super chill, your vibe is pretty, mellow. But then when those lights turn on, you flip the switch. How does that happen? Because you literally go from one personality to another when you're making that ring walk.
It's right here. That's all it takes. It's just taking off the glasses. But when it's work time, it's work time. And the mindset has to change. Not messing around no more. Throughout the week, fight week, we'll be going to our COVID test or eating our breakfast, and everybody's laughing and joking around because it's supposed to be fun. Our job's fun. If it's not fun to you, then why are you doing it? But when the fight comes, it's time to be serious, and we bring our A game, and that's exactly what we do.
So I've seen you the morning of fights, and what I like to do is I'll say hi to fighters, but I don't really like to bother you guys because you're in your own mental zone and everything else. But you're so relaxed and you're joking around even the morning of a fight. When do you start to flip that switch and turn into the quote-unquote, I would have to say your alter ego, the Towering Inferno? So when does that change start to happen?
Probably in the dressing room. As soon as we get to the dressing room, we start warming up. We put on those shoes, the boxing boots. We put on the shorts, get our hands wrapped. That's when everything starts to switch. That's when you know, or that's when you need to recognize that the job has started.
Who are some guys, assuming that everything goes according to plan on May 1st against Jorge Cota on PBC FOX Sports pay-per-view? 154 is a deep division. Are there names that you would want to fight next?
Well, we're number 10. Ring Magazine just put us at number 10 in the division, so all 9 through 1. Everybody above us.
So anybody in the top 10 you want?
Definitely.
So a matchup maybe. I mean, I'm just playing hypothetical matchmaker, and I mean, I'm not Tom Brown at TGB Promotions, the promoter, but I mean, is it like, would a Julian Willings fight interest you? I mean, would there's a litany of names out there. Jason Rosario. I mean, you and Rosario is managed and promoted by Samson Lukowicz as well. Mm-hmm. Would that fight intrigue you?
Whatever they throw at us, we don't ever get to really pick the fights, but whatever they have in front of us, we will gladly take that fight.
I feel like you are the kind of consummate prize fighter that when a promoter or matchmaker calls you and says, we got this name, I feel like it almost takes you 20 seconds, maybe less, to say yes. Like, what's the date?
Definitely.
Right?
I remember when we would, in the beginning, when we would fight for PBC, Samson would call my father a kamikaze because he would give him a name. And my dad would say, yeah, no problem. He's like, you're not going to check the guy? No, we're more than sure that we'll beat the guy. So we're always prepared. We're always prepared for anybody. That's why we stay in camp. That's why we take our job with professionalism, and we dot our I's and cross all our T's.
So Samson called you a kamikaze?
Call my dad a kamikaze.
You called your dad a kamikaze? Why? Because he barely even told your dad the record, and your dad was like, all right, yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah. He'll say stuff like this guy has 10 fights and 15 knockouts. He has some corny jokes sometimes, but that's just Samson.
Samson got some corny jokes?
Yeah. We love him for that, though,
Well, that's Samson himself. So, also, I want to know about your ring attire. You come out with the, Mexican Chado hat. Was that your opinion and by design from your standpoint, your style, or was that a combination of the entire team coming together as to be like, hey, like, let's walk out with this?
That's usually all my dad. That's my dad's department. He like, his mind goes crazy when it goes to shorts and all that. He uses every pair of shorts or outfit I have, it always him, and he always thinks of it, and they always come out nice. I always like them. I don't ask him. He doesn't ask me what color or anything. He just picks it, and it always comes out nice. So that's all his department.
It's got to be nice for you because you're like, hey, I trust my dad. My dad, has us with some cool outfits, so I don't even have to, pay attention to that.
Yep. All I have to focus on is training and getting ready for the fight.
Okay, so May 1st, we're 11 days away. It's going to be a wild night of boxing. When fans tune in and they see you make your ring walk, what can they expect?
Just to have a good time. Drink your beer, or get your beer ready, your peanuts, whatever you have, the food, and get ready for a good show.
I know you're a student of the game. Who are some guys that you admire watching in boxing? And I'm sure you're going to be paying attention to the entire card, but, I'm sure you have a lot of respect for Ruiz and Arreola and Figueroa and Ramos. I mean, these guys like to come and they like to go at it.
Yeah. I'm excited to see Ruiz, so I like to see him again. He's very, especially for the Mexican crowd, he's like almost like a superhero for being first heavyweight first heavyweight champion, and we got him. I watch Gennady. I watch just people with power. Marquez, another great Mexican fighter. Yeah, I like that. That's who I like. I like people with power. I like people who give knockouts. Just like a fan, I'm when it comes to boxing, I'm just like the fans. I want to see a knockout, and that's the people I admire. We got people like Benner Beeve and just strong fighters.
When you hurt somebody, from my standpoint, because I've called a lot of your fights, it appears that you get a thrill from that. Not in a bad way, like you want to physically hurt someone, but you want to finish the fight quickly. Like you get excited. And I see that look in your eye. Your eyes open up and you're like, oh man, like it's kind of like how I look at a steak when it's put in front of me. Like I get really excited. So I feel the same way with you.
Yeah. As soon as, and we've been training for that too. We've been training with every camp. We recognize when someone's hurt. I can see it in sparring. I can see it in the fight. I can see it while other people are fighting on TV. I can recognize when someone's hurt. So we look for that. And when we see it, it bombs away.
Is it hard when you crack somebody and you see them wobble to not be overly aggressive and sort of rush in and leave yourself exposed?
At first, yeah. But that's just, I think, being part of immature. You grow up in the sport. That's why I said we learn with experience about how and when to stop a fighter. I felt with the last fight, we rocked him the first round. But my dad told me to not slow down, but to pace yourself. And we end up doing the same thing in the second round. So we still got the job done, and we got the job done pretty fast.
Well, you look fantastic against Khabib Ahmed, and I don't know of anybody that has done that to him. So that's certainly something to put on your resume. Same thing with Nate Gallimore. Nate Gallimore in August, he'd never been stopped before. You were the first guy to do it, and you did it in fantastic fashion.
Thank you. Yeah, like we just, as soon as the guy breaks, we recognize it and we just do it at a pace, but not to overwhelm ourselves. So where we're throwing so much and then we get tired, we gas ourselves out, and now this guy has a chance, if he survives it all, to make a comeback. We do it in a smart pace to get the job done.
Well,
safe.
In boxing terms, you break them down systematically.
Yes. Yep.
So 6'6", 154. Question people want to know, how do you make the weight?
I don't make the weight. I just walk at it. It's not a problem for me.
Okay.
I step on the scale right now, I'll be at 5 pounds over. It's easy.
But how do you get down to that weight? I mean, that's not easy to be able to make 154 at 6'6". I mean, is it a diet thing? I mean, do you see yourself being at this weight for a couple of years, or what do you think? I mean, you know your body better than anybody else.
I guess it's just a fast metabolism. The day of the weigh-in, I guess I just won't drink milk, and then I'll make the weight. So it's not a big thing for me. It's not a problem. I see a lot of fighters, they struggle to make weight. Some pass out during the weigh-in day. It's a big problem for fighters. But for me, especially because of my height, I don't have to struggle with the weight classes I'm fighting. And especially now that I walk in maybe later in the future, my metabolism will slow down and I'll have to jump up to 160, maybe just jump up to 175, who knows. But for now, we make 154 and we make it with ease.
Well, I mean, you do a fantastic job with that. So on Sunday after the fight, and you're at home, and assuming, everything goes according to plan for you, what's going to be your meal of choice? Like, what's your cheat meal to where you go and you're like, all right, I don't have to worry about making weight. Now it's time for me to enjoy this meal. What is it?
If I can pick, I'm going to get a steak. I'm going to get a nice steak, medium rare, and whatever, mashed potatoes or pasta, some carbs, just to be solid for the next day. Probably eat that probably 5 day, I'll probably eat the same thing.
5 day, the same thing, so you'll have, so what's a 5 day routine? Like, if you're fighting, let's say, the pay-per-view will be on May 1st, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time. So, what's your, like, if you're having lunch, you're going to have a steak and some potatoes?
Yeah, if I can. We have the time. I'm going to be resting the whole day, so I don't need to eat crazy, but maybe pasta. But if I could pick, I like red meat. I'll get a steak.
That's the best, isn't it?
Yep, definitely.
All right, so give me your prediction for your fight against Jorge Cota, May 1st, PBC on Fox Sports pay-per-view, an all-Mexican night of boxing. It's going to be crazy at Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson. What's your prediction, Sebastian?
I predict him to come in 100%. I'm going to bring my 100%, and I predict it to be a war. But a war can end fast, too, so don't blink.
All right. Hey, Sebastian, thanks so much. We will see you next week during Fight Week here in Los Angeles. And also, I know you're a big boxing fan. Don't forget to check out PBC on FS1 tonight, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time. We got 3 hours of fights.
All right, then. Thanks for having me.